program this evening, most honorable.
Yeah. And good evening to us.
Yes, I've been longing to have you on this program, but because of how much you have for the people working all the time, you are either in the National Assembly deliberating or debating on issues or meeting people on the usual basis, and of course you don't always have time to appear, but today I had to ensure that indeed let you be my guest and you honored this invitation. I want to appreciate that.
Thank you.
You've been one of these lawmakers that I respect so much in my mind, particularly in the FCT. I've been here for a very long time, interviewing people like you. You'll be quite very receptive. You welcome people when time is required. You're one of these lawmakers, when you call, by the time you notice, you miss the call rather, you try to call back. That particular act is enough to say we appreciate you greatly.
Thank you, Mr. Yes.
One of the things that I noticed today this morning is the ability to gather people in Abuja, trying to conscientize them, creating an awareness of them, intervening on their lives, on the use of electricity, where the distributors sometimes change the subscribers to their best interest. And so you felt we cannot have a city running like the way it is in Abuja with very, very many factories, companies, including individuals who operate on their own. But of course, they don't have constant power supply. And as a lawmaker, you felt there is a need for you to intervene by creating a workshop and tell them what is expected and what they should do, to an extent of creating even desk offices in these two constituencies, in these two local government you represent, and even having a desk officer in your office, that I see it as a very good thing. But again, I want to find out from you, sir. Will you say you are keeping the promise?
I think that for me, the only reason why we are elected to represent the people is to see that we solve the problem they are facing. That's why we're elected. And let me say this, my office as a member House of Representative, I don't have like executive power where I approve anything for anyone. So it takes my ability and the powers of my representation, my relationship with the people I represent, and being able to articulate on how to get their problem solved, to be able to stand out there and say that I'm an honorable member representing my federal constituency. So, and I think on that note, that is what I'm doing. You said that when people call me, I answer. If you say that you represent people and they don't have access to you, are you representing?
Not at all.
The only man that can represent anybody is a man who is in contact with the person that is represented. And that is the job I'm doing.
Yeah. Yes. So, what did you do this morning with your questions?
Well, I have been inundated with a lot of complaints from my constituents as it relates to the issue of electricity matters. I can tell you today that so many communities and supply towns that we have in my constituency are facing problem of electricity. Some of them, their transformers are packed up. There are some electrical wells that doesn't even have electricity existing in them. And when we think of it, this is the Federal Capital Territory, a state governed by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Minister of FCT is just an administrative head for the President. But the President is the governor of this state, and it should be a precedent state. By this time in history, we should not be talking about any area in FCT that is not having electricity. By this time in history, we shouldn't be talking about any area that doesn't have an excess food in FCT. But that's not the case. Go to our satellite towns, the roads are not developed. Our rural communities don't have roads. Not talk of electricity. And what I have done today is about the economic viability of AMAC Bwari Federal Constituency. Also, you should know that a lot of people are coming into Abuja as a result of security problems that we have in the country today. And 60 to 65% of them are youths. And because they are here, and government cannot provide jobs for them, and we don't create another environment where the private sector can do so, or they can employ themselves by their own creativity, then how do you solve the problem of insecurity in Abuja? So security is on my top agenda, and solving it is making the issue of energy problem, getting it solved, so that in our rural communities we can have light. A young man in that rural community can open up a baby salon. A young girl in that community can have a hair making salon. You can have so many things that can be created, a lot of jobs can be created out of it. So it's an important part of my legislative agenda. And that is what you have seen today displayed. In bringing all the stakeholders together to make sure that we tackle the issue of electricity inefficiency in my federal constituency.
Is it working as head of this power supply or electricity, not just in FCT, sir?
Yes.
But I think it cuts across all the states where a electric supplier of this electricity is noticed.
Yes.
In the sense that you stay close into a week or more before you get light.
Yeah.
As a lawmaker, who then tells his people the need to provide only electricity in the constituency you represent, can that be seen to be solvable when you know it's a national calamity?
Let me say something now.
Yes.
By 2022, there was a law that was made that they have removed the issue of power from the
executive to down the line. Yes.
So that is a way of giving the states the opportunity to generate and distribute. Which so many states are now getting involved. If you go to other states today,
Yes.
you can see what the other government is doing. I'm trying to make sure that the state generates more electricity and also the distribution. And that's part of what I am also initiating today in the program that we held. I am calling on the Minister of FCT and also the agency that is the Abuja investment. To see how we can get investors that will invest into the electricity business. You cannot put it all on the federal government now. The state has to get involved. And in our case, FCT is our state. So I'm calling on them to be able to attract investors. Because I can tell you that among all the states, Abuja is one of the places that any investor should be interested. Because you have the kind of organizations and residents that can be able to afford to pay for it. So I think that is the awareness that I'm creating.
Yeah. Is it because that awareness you're trying to create for them?
Yeah.
By even coming up with an idea of having desk officers.
Yes.
Are you saying over time they have been shortchanged? You mean?
They have grossly been shortchanged. What will you tell me about a community that will be out of light for 2 years? It's not that the electricity has not been in existence in that community. And we've told you that we have to say the fact. Remember, somebody who is in business of electricity distribution. That is where he makes his profit. He'll be able to solve any problem that will make people not to get access to his services. And if communities cannot have electricity for 2 years, does he show that the person handling is doing well? So where are you making your money from? Is either you have another way of making your money which you believe that is cheaper for you. That's why I was striving to put or restore anything that is wrong with that transformer or with the poles or whatever that it takes to restore light in those communities. So it's give and take. So I know that the consumers have their faults too, by bypass and other things. But that notwithstanding, what I have done today is to tell them that I know what I'm supposed to be doing as a legislator.
Yeah.
Anything that has a legislative approval will have legislative oversight. And that is what I have done today. By telling them that I am aware of my legislative powers, and I will be there to oversight the activities, and the right thing should be done, so that the people of AMAC Bwari Federal Constituency should get the right service from AEDC.
Now, what are the functions of this DEXI? Because you have one as an aid to you,
Yes.
and then you have taken a resolution that will be created or be established in these two area councils.
Now, you see, what I've done today is bringing all the stakeholders together so that we can be able to hold them accountable.
Okay.
Now, prior to this, there is nothing like,
You can watch the on screen the event today.
yes, there is nothing like DEX office or unit or department that see for the consumers protection in our local government, even in the FCT as a ministry. So what took place today, I've brought it to the notice that the board chairman from AMAC and the Bwari Federal Council should establish a unit or a desk officer that is in charge of receiving the complaints from our people. And I have also made it possible that people can submit whatever that is their problem through the letter to the office of the Federal Constituency that we have at Kubwa here around Kubwa Expressway.
Yes.
And I have also appointed a special assistant in this regard for consumer protection.
The question here is if these DEX officers are able to collate those complaints,
Yes.
put them together,
Yes.
probably send them to you.
Yes.
Have you established any link between your office and the NEC or either any particular body that's in charge?
Today at the event that we held today, all the relevant agencies are there. NEC is there, Consumer Protection is there, AEDC is there. What do you need to know that we have been in contact with all the stakeholders that we needed to be in contact with in solving the issue of electricity problem in Bwari Federal Constituency. I'm not limiting the issue of electricity to AMAC, but the charity begins at home.
Sure.
Many from the step I have taken today, my colleagues in the Federal House and as well, try to put upon themselves to make sure that the issues of this kind in their own constituencies are solved and paying attention to it. How much job can we create? I'm simply know how many people that when I requested for applications for job in my office, as of today, I've gotten over 7,000.
7,000.
Yes.
Probably for fewer or job opportunities.
That is 7,000 I've received. So, how on earth am I going to get jobs for these 7,000 individuals?
Obviously not. You can't.
And the only thing that can help to create opportunity for them to be engaged energy solution is top on the list. And that's why you see me doing what we are doing today, what we did today. And I know by the grace of God, through this engagement, in the near future, we will see a lot of changes because we are there to wake everybody up for their responsibility. My major job as a legislator is to make laws. After that lawmaking is even budgeting. When budget is it becomes a law. And the rest of it is oversight. And that is what you see me.
Any enforcement for a defaulter or defaulters, for instance, your desk officer reports back to you, tells you this is the way things have been going in that particular area, and probably because an officer who believes he's in charge fails to actually implement your suggestions.
Mr. Gumba, do you know what? Every day people tell us, move motions, do new laws for this and that. I can tell you that if you go into the existing laws, everything is spelled out. Everything is there.
Now what's missing?
What is missing is lack of oversight by the relevant agencies and some of them that are members of the legislature who has passed the law, who is an ability to make sure that the right things are done. And I'm taking on that responsibility.
That should be on a personal level.
That is the reason why I'm elected, and that's why I'm representing. So I will see to it that where the law says is implemented. If the law have issued any penalty for somebody who has not complied, I will make sure that that goes into effect.
I noticed, because I was looking for AEDC to interview, but I didn't see.
They were present later.
Okay, they came much later.
Okay. And they were there.
Okay.
Yes.
So what was their take when they noticed this huge gathering and the way things were really being conducted today in the afternoon concerning creating an awareness on the consumption of electricity by consumers?
As a matter of fact, EABC is supposed to be part of doing what I have just done today. Even though they say they have been doing it, but the way they have been going about it might not be through their own understanding. For what I have done today is to be able to bring everybody together. Where we are not doing well, we'll be able to put ourselves to improve. It's not about fighting. It's when you have made these suggestions and we have discussed and nothing changes that we apply some kind of force to it.
Are you aware that today Nigerians, particularly subscribers to this electricity or the consumers, so to speak, they are getting their billings through estimation, and there is this policy that some regimes have ever come with, suggesting the use of prepaid meters. And these prepaid meters, by their standard, are supposed to be distributed freely to people who are subscribing to electricity in this country. But till today, they are either being sold or you don't even get it at all. As a legislator, what are you going to do in that aspect? Because your constituents will all equally want to be free from this crazy billing that people are given as estimates.
You see, Percy, that is the reason that today's workshop was held. To let all the actors, all the stakeholders in the business of electricity to know that there's someone who is his duty to oversight them, that knows what they should be doing. And today we discussed it. I don't want to emphasize on that. Sometimes when things are not done right, maybe because of one reason or the other, but when you call the attention of the people and make them know, when people are ignorant of the right, you can really try on that to stop them. But when people don't know that this is their right and this is what you should be doing, I will question you. It takes the will of the people to direct the agencies of government to do the right thing for them. And that is what I'm doing now. Letting the people get the right information so that they know their right, they will stand on it and compel the agencies to do the right thing.
Are you aware that communities put money together to buy transformer when it goes bad? Are you aware?
Are you telling me that? Do you know how many communities that are demanding transformers from me? I have more than 30 communities that is on my neck to get transformers. And I tell them that it's not on me as a legislator to be able to provide this transformers for you. How much do I have even in constituency projects to be able to do that? When we have other problems, we have schools without roof, chairs,
Hospitals
that doesn't have any equipment, that doesn't have enough force to work in them, health centers that there's nobody that is there to attend to anybody. And my parents are necessary. FCT, I continue to say, should be a pay-setter state. Yes, the Honorable Minister of FCT has started well by first making sure that most of the roads in the city, which were left out over the years, even though they have been already, are completed. That's a nice one. But right now, I am telling him that his concentration should then go down to the rural communities so that we can get this city decongested. And we can open up the rural communities so that we can be free from these criminals. Because when you don't open up the rural communities, they will go there and run you and come out in the city to attack us. That is exactly what I'm calling on the federal government to pay attention to right now. Emphasis on rural communities and satellite towns so that people can be doing action. Some people are living in the city today where they are paying 4 million naira that they don't have. When people ask me what Labour would have done differently as a party, I said we would have used infrastructure to tackle corruption. Do you know how that goes? Today, if you are living in the city and you are paying 4 million naira, and you have to send your children to private school where you can pay up to 300 for a primary school pupils. And there's government were able to open roads that goes into a town. And there is a proper transportation master plan where they can apply that route in and out. You can decide to leave the city, go to somewhere you can